Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Hong Kong House of Cards. Now, in case you're wondering why, my screen is currently populated with a big fuck-all white background and a picture of Becker, it would be because Google hates us tonight. Dice Stream and overlays are not working, so fun time for technical difficulties. But that aside, we have another meeting, I think, between Becker and the escaped convicts from the technocracy.
Something along those lines.
Well, they never actually convicted us of anything.
Except it is.
And all the records that can prove anything were definitely erased.
Definitely. I have no idea where this scene is being set, which makes this intro a little hard to do. Julie, would somebody care to help fill that in for us?
I'd say it's up to the prince where she wants to meet her two prospective employees.
I guess that will be at her office then.
Presumably they're given the address then?
Yeah.
It was on the business card.
All right. In that case, they would arrive at a preset time, making sure ahead of time that she knows that they're on their way. Obviously, it's after dark. I have no idea what Asuka's wearing, but I can only assume it's not what she has on in that picture.
Probably a smart business suit.
Oh wait, sorry, wrong us.
She does have the hair clips, though.
Yay.
Alrighty then.
She's pretty much never seen without them.
Awesome.
Is Mercer there? Or
Would you ask Mercer to be there? Because
I don't care. If you want another scene.
I get Mercer seems pretty easy. I could always bring.
Sure, yeah.
Just as long as it's not a changeling.
No, yeah, not a changeling. Actually, it's an NPC that I'm just going to handle for the purposes of your meeting at Becker's place.
Sure thing.
Yeah, setting off probably to this one side of the room, kind of minding his own business with his hat tilted down over his eyes, which is, it's not one of those like 10-gallon, cowboy hats, but like one of those broad-brimmed, kind of just setting off in the corner.
So is a bowler hat?
I wouldn't call it a bowler.
It's like a cowboy hat. It's not quite Texas size, more like Arizona.
Think, what's
Think PBR.
I see. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
So kind of in that style get up, sitting there in the corner, just kind of minding his own business.
I think Becker just has like a desk, a chair set up just so that he can prop his feet up. And it's not on her desk.
Pretty much.
So yeah, Becker will be there. You'd be ushered in as you have the appropriate appointment and credentials for our purposes. She'll welcome you.
For their part, I would assume that Dimitri walks in seeming fairly relaxed, pleasant. They do have a small box with them, which of course can get put through security. I assume there would be something to that effect.
It's a bank. And I have a Sean character.
Oh, the NPC I'm running? Yeah, sure. Downside to this character is he doesn't have Oscar, so life moves on.
There's no magical auras coming from it or anything. It's a box. It contains electronics and stuff. No weaponry. If they are frisked or anything, then they hand over that shit. But regardless, once they're inside, Dimitri kind of looks over at the fellow in the corner who he doesn't recognize, and then over at Miss Becker, and just kind of nods politely, makes sure the door is shut behind them, and moves forward a little bit, obviously waiting for her to say something.
She'll finish. She always does paperwork. It's kind of a bitchy thing that I do. But she'll finish the paperwork before acknowledging you and look up. Mr. Dragomir. I believe it was, yes. Welcome. And I see you brought your associate. Mr. West here is joining us for the evening.
Howdy. And it's not Southern, it's more like that Midwestern kind of generic American howdy.
Oh, joy. I don't even know if Dimitri has an accent. I would argue he doesn't in any particular way. It's just a general American accent. He nods politely. Pleasure is mine. May I introduce my associate, Miss Oscar Langley.
Becca will stand up from her chair and offer a hand to the new person. It's a pleasure.
Oscar will take the hand and shake it firmly.
With her strength of 2.
It allows better than Limpris because 2 is average.
So we're not doing any church ready handshakes. Good. I understand you and Mr. Dragomir are looking for business deals.
Of a sort, yes. Though he's obviously not going to overstep if Oscar wants to say anything.
No, she's not. She's not saying anything at the moment.
I assume you brought some examples of your work.
What we were able to conjure up without a proper lab, of course. He gestures towards the box that Oscar is holding. If she opens it,
she does.
It's got it's essentially a small drone, but it doesn't look that different from what you'd see on, any tech catalog or anything, except it's a little bit smaller than you'd expect. It's extremely quiet if they activate it, and it has extremely stable flight pattern. Basically, it's bleeding edge technology. This is like something that MIT would be like, oh wow, that's a really good example. That's better than we're doing right now. But it's not doing anything magical. It's just a very efficient drone. And if they activate it for a demonstration or anything, it's semi-autonomous. It can follow basic programming. Like we're not controlling it in any obvious way, and it'll just follow voice commands or whatever else we give it. But it's still just following programs. It's not self-aware or anything. But still, that's a pretty impressive feat of robotics, given we built it ourselves.
Yes, let's please not reenact Terminator in here.
No, it's not Skynet.
Oh, the voice commands would be in German, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense, that would mean you're the one doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, Herr Schultz tonight. Darn it. He's the Assamite Primogen.
Nice.
Ah, very interesting. Stupid. Yes, that was OOC.
Yes. So, presumably they give a very brief demonstration, just showing its capabilities. When it's done, has it shut down and close up the box again. That is a small taste of what she can perform, and that's when we don't have enough tools to work with.
Most impressive, I must say. So, An interesting piece of machinery, especially in such a short amount of time to be able to develop.
The actual assembly was not too difficult. It was mostly having the parts on hand. We had to cannibalize a few other things. With no funds, it's not easy to get what we need.
I like him. He's resourceful.
Thank you, Mr. West.
Pleasure, man.
So, in regards to financial arrangements, have you located any loose assets that might be diverted to this particular investment?
I always have some money set aside for new investments and business opportunities. The problem is I can't seem to find the correct property at the moment.
We might be able to locate a property, though, of course, I'm not sure if the property would be owned or simply leased. But we might be able to assist with that department. Obviously, if you have one that you prefer, something, I don't know, I have no idea what your capacity is in that department for real estate, but if you have something that you're able to find, we would take anything offered, and work it off, of course. But we might be able to ask a few people that are also interested in getting us out of their hair as soon as possible, he says with kind of a smile. We're obviously at the moment with no resources of our own. We are currently freeloading at the expense of the House of Pentacles.
I hear my mage PC screaming because I know where you're boarding at. That's told me.
Oh, I think they want our characters out of there as soon as possible.
Becca will nod and look over some paperwork. The problem isn't the lack of property. The problem is the lack of privacy.
That is something that we have little experience in, well, let's just say securing a lab site is something you learn in 101, so to speak. Which he kind of grins over at Oscar because, 101, yeah.
Right.
Rue 101, the memories. But in any case, we have our own abilities for making sure the place is not being casually observed. Of course, any detailed attempt by the right people with the right tools will be able to locate us no matter what, but we can make it so that it would be an extreme investment on their part to locate us.
No.
All we need is adequate space, access to power, water, the standard utilities, and, of course, high-speed internet access. Beyond that, we can soundproof a facility ourselves if need be, and as long as we have the finances to acquire the materials we need. We do have a few extra pairs of hands available for this sort of thing.
I know at the moment I can get a warehouse that can be converted. I have finances set aside.
I would hope so with resources 5. Yeah.
A prince without resources 6? Scandalous.
Yeah, well, Anon Elder beat it and take that Ventru merit.
I'm a Ventru, alright. I may have resources 5, but I can always go, hey, clan.
And they will help you, that's right.
It's nice to have that playing Ventru. Those were good times until they weren't.
Okay, so He's basically just, explained they can convert whatever they need within reason. If you can find them a warehouse that actually has the right water, power, and everything else, they can create the rest from there. They just need power, water, supplies, internet, and money. Once they have the money, they can secure it. They can secure the place. They have a couple guards at their disposal. They have some research aides to help set up. They just need, they might need to, I'm not thinking they would hire any contractors necessarily, but they could easily do the work themselves and just make things.
Asuka's going to tap on her PDA that she carries everywhere and smirk lightly. As long as the internet is good, we should be able to do anything we want. The Chinese government's restrictions won't be a problem.
He just kind of grins. No, I don't believe they will be. Given that there isn't a single person on their team except for the security guards who doesn't have at least 3 dots in computers.
Now there is also the issue of my name, my business being connected with what you're doing. If there happened to be a scandal, that could be detrimental to my, I hesitate to say, livelihood.
If you wish, there are ways to get around that problem. The first and most obvious solution would be to make the deposit cash in hand. Cash is harder to trace, though not impossible. The second thing, of course, is we could give you, other than our assurances that we won't cause a riot, you or someone that you trust in their judgment of such things could tour our facilities. We would, after all, be using your resources, so it makes sense that you would want to check in on your investment.
Besides, who's going to want to inspect a toy factory?
I don't think we're going to go with that particular explanation, but
Makes a good front.
not when you're in an abandoned warehouse. But yes, we have used that one before.
The other issue that has come up that I'm concerned about, and my associates are concerned about, is so far I've been able to maintain a low profile with the technocracy. My business, myself, I do not wish for them to become aware of who I am and what my business is.
Or more importantly, if I may interject, the court at large.
I find it unlikely that, should any elements of our former employers locate us, they will be too interested in where we got our resources necessarily. That becomes a low priority for them. The first priority would be killing us or capturing us and burning the factory to the ground. Or warehouse, I should say. Damn it, now you got me saying toy factory. Out of character.
That's because Asuka is superior.
In any case, as he says, it's not likely that they're going to think too much about that, not in the short term. And if it's cash, it'll be harder for them to trace. They'll honestly not bother too much. They would be focused more on taking them out of the equation and ruining their resources. They would not be any more likely to go after you guys. Now, mind you, he's not Syndicate, but he is someone who's seen how they work.
Then I can have the proper paperwork drawn up. We can start negotiations. Out of character, I'm going to have to ask Brett how much I can take out.
Yeah, exactly. And figure out what location we're using and so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay. And he'll dicker for a minute or two talking about, like, what'd you have in mind, etc. But he's not going to worry about that for the moment. As you said, they'll deal with it later. With that in mind, he'll kind of nod a little bit. Out of character, I should probably be getting out of here pretty quick, actually, because it's 1:30 in the morning and everyone else is asleep. But in any case, is there anything else we can do to reassure you, or are we currently, shall we say, at an equitable arrangement?
Currently, I think our arrangement is fine. If you prefer, since you seem to be running into a few troubles with the place you're staying at, I can arrange for you to stay in a hotel until our business is complete, so that no welcomes are once in.
For the moment, despite how things are where we are, we need to keep an eye on a particular asset of ours, easily the most valuable asset we acquired from our former employers. We don't want to leave it out of sight any further than it already is. As soon as the paperwork is drawn up, that will be our first priority to transfer it to that location, for which we will probably need a truck of some sort. It's not exactly small.
I can imagine.
It's about the size of a standard shipping container.
Roughly.
That shouldn't be too difficult to arrange then.
Yeah, it can also be packed into a semi. You could do it with a cargo van, but it wouldn't work too well. It's too tall.
Just that.
Well, then I will start the paperwork. I will send you listings for available buildings. And when that is done, we can meet again.
And hopefully we'll have some new trinkets for you to use. Kind of grins. As I said, those, I should probably find out what size you want those, the camo meshes in, but we can worry about that later. I can always cut them to size later. In any case, thank you for your time. He makes proper farewells and such, using my limited etiquette score.
Not that Asuka has any, which is why she's been keeping her mouth shut this whole time.
And with that, he would make his farewells and lead Asuka out of the room.
All right.
Don't come.
Well, then,
They have the strange vibe of warlocks around them. Eric will mention to Becker.
yes. That can be to our benefit, though.
I suppose.
I guess if that scene's over.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, viewers, for watching. I'm not sure if we had any viewers, but maybe we did. And we will see you next time on Hong Kong House of Cards.